You can never go wrong with squats,
Okay.
deadlifts, and any type of compound movement, squats, bench, or deadlifts. Those are
Okay.
my favorite.
Okay.
Just because they're compound movements and
Yeah.
they touch the entire body versus
Explain that. Explain that a little bit.
yeah.
Compound movement.
So
Yeah.
compound movements are um, an exercise that covers or that focuses on the entire body.
Okay.
So with deadlifts, for example, you're covering your core, your back, or your core is part of your back, but your arms, your legs, you're covering everything.
Okay.
So that's really what compound movements are.
Gotcha. As opposed to something like a curl,
Right.
or maybe a calf raise or something like
Right.
that. Okay, got you. Okay, that's so we have deadlifts, we have squats, bench press, or something to that effect, basically. Okay, so how about this? What's your favorite type of exercise? Category. You were talking about like HIIT or cardio or strength training or bike. What type of exercises do you like to do?
For me, I would say strength training.
Okay.
Strength training because, for one, that's where I started out at. In high school, I did powerlifting, so that's always just been my strongest or my go-to in when it comes to overall health and wellness. A lot of people tend to skip out, or women in general, they tend to skip out on the strength training part, or that's the main part that they struggle with because just a concept or just an idea in the fitness industry growing or throughout the industry in general, women were told hey, you don't need to lift any weights. You're going to look manly. It's not, you don't need to do it when overall or in general, strength training actually has more health benefits than just like doing, cardio or just doing, whatever, anything beside or within strength training in general. I just love to teach women that you can do strength training and it's not being considered like manly or or I guess I would say like putting strength training with a gender.
Right.
It's not something that needs
Yeah,
to
combining strength training because I mean
Right.
everyone has muscles.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
I mean, and then as we age, if we don't do anything, our muscles get a little bit smaller.
Right.
Right. So the age of women that come to you in general are what? In what range?
So I would say between my main target is my main population is between, I would say from like 20s, from 20s to 40s or
Okay.
late 40s.
Okay. All right. Hey, and have many of them done strength training before or not really? And this is kind of their first go at it.
So they've done it before,
Uh-huh.
or they say they used to be athletes in high school, or they
Okay.
used to do something when they were younger. It's just, or they were like a college athlete and they just took some time off. They're wanting to get back into the rhythm of things, having
Okay.
a program for
Yeah.
them, because that's where majority of them fell off, is just not having structure or not really knowing what to do next after the sport that they play.
Okay. And then so what would you tell somebody if they're trying to start right now? You have some people watching this right now that are trying to get back into it. Maybe they've gained a lot of weight. Maybe they've never worked out a day in their life and now they've hit 30. Something like that.
Yeah.
What type of things would you tell that person?
I would mainly tell people, please, if anything, invest in a program, some type of program. If you're not able to invest in a trainer, which for me, I advise you invest in a trainer, just because if you don't have, most of the time, majority of people need accountability.
Yeah.
But if you aren't able to hire a coach, at least following some type of program or having structure when you go into the gym. That way you're not just confused or lost or you don't know what to do.
Understandable. And then what else? What else would you tell them after they do that? Say they get into a program that they like. What next? What should they do next?
So I would tell them, just making sure you stick to it. I mean, for me, a lot of people would say like it's motivation over discipline, but for me, it's discipline, because motivation is kind of like that. It comes and goes. It's not really anything that you can stick with or abide by.
Yeah.
So just being disciplined, and also too planning everything. Planning helps a lot. So when it comes to meal planning, of course, prepping your meals in advance, creating and setting time goals for yourself. Because if you don't, or if you have a program and you don't set any goals or have any time structured within those goals, then you'll end up back where you started.
Time goals.
Yes.
I don't know if I've heard that
Yeah.
structure of words before.
Mhm.
So time goals. So explain that a little bit further. Like, what do you mean by time goals? Can I put time goals towards exercise and food, or what? How do you situate that term?
Yeah.
Time goals.
So, say for an example, you want to be able, say if you're training for a mile,
Okay.
you want to set a time and say like, okay, by this date, I want to be able to get to this specific goal, or be able to run
At a certain time,
a
right?
certain
So
time,
you're
yeah.
running, let's say, a 5K, and I want to run a 5K in 21 minutes or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
So that'd be a time goal. But then,
Yes.
how would I apply that to food? Let's say, food wise, take the food. How would I apply that to food? The time
So
goal?
for food, food can be a little tricky.
Okay.
So for me, when it comes to planning out food, I usually cook for like 3 days.
Okay.
And then I'll cook or that third day, I'll usually cook again. But just like writing everything out, like actually being intentional with planning your food.
Okay.
Whether that be creating a grocery list and sticking specifically to those things on your grocery list. Because if you don't write those things out, you're gonna get into the grocery store and be like, okay, I'm just gonna walk around and whatever looks good to me, I'm gonna get.
It's true.
So just being intentional with like creating a list for yourself and
Okay.
actually sticking to it.
That makes sense. Basically, you're taking a portion of the week. You're saying, I know exactly what I'm going to eat that week.
Right.
So now time's not even a factor for those days. And then these other 2 days, I may do something a little bit different. But now the majority of my week, I'm already covered.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So with that, what are the steps do you do to keep that determination? Because I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people, right? Is that diligence and determination and kind of just sticking to that regimen. How do you do that?
So for myself, I always remember where I came from.
Uh-huh.
So that's really my discipline for
Okay.
myself.
What do you mean by that?
So from as far as like where I was like mentally, physically.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just remembering like where I was not in good shape at all, and I don't like feeling that way, how I used to feel. So just knowing like, remembering where I came from, and also too, just on the days where I'm not feeling my best, giving myself grace, but also to still holding myself accountable and letting myself know like, hey, you can always get back into the groove of things, and not, if you do happen to fall off, not beating yourself up about it. So just, yeah, like I would say, just honestly remembering where I came from and knowing that I have a goal in mind, knowing that this is always a lifestyle thing for me.
Understandable. So how do people find you? If someone's watching this right now, they want to train with you, how do they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at amber.darcel.
Okay.
You can find me on TikTok. A lot of people, or a lot of my clients, they find me on TikTok. So at amber, or it'd be at amber.darcel.
Okay.
And then my fitness page or my website is rootedwithamber.com.
Okay. And so there's couple things I have to ask you about, because I did go to the website, and I like the website layout, by the way. One thing is you have a program on there.
Right.
Talk to me about that program. What is this program?
Yes, so the program is an 8-week full body program.
Okay.
So it includes strength training, 3 full body workouts.
Okay.
Cardio and core days, mobility, includes mobility in there. Also, form tips, because a lot of the times that's when you create a program, a lot of times the form tips are implemented in there. So I wanted to make sure to add the form tips in there.
Okay.
And then it includes demo videos as well. Now, what made me get into the health and wellness industry is, for me, I came out of high school. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I just remember stepping foot in a gym. I thought I was gonna go to the Army, but that ship sailed. But so I stepped foot into a gym. I really liked how, me working out, how it made my body feel. And so from there, it skyrocketed from there. I went off to Texas State, graduated from Texas State in 2019 in public health, in my minor health communication. And from there, my personal experience is I what made me want to fully go into it and dig a little more deeper into the health side is I had went through a traumatic health issue for myself
Mhm.
to where I took a step back to where I wanted to change my overall health and wellness lifestyle. So
Okay.
when it comes to like eating better, I'm eating healthier, and just like overall history with my family too. I just wanted to be able to make an impact for not only myself but for others around me.
Okay.
And
How old were you at the time?
I think I was coming out of high school, or yeah, high school. So that was around. I'm not too good with numbers. I think I was 18.
So pretty young.
Yeah, I was pretty young.
Okay. That
Yes.
must be pretty traumatic to go through something at that
Yes.
age. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for that that's where I kind of opened my eyes and just needed to, or made me realize I need to take my health more serious with that.